dimension, surpassing the vastness of time and space. The Grand Thoughtmaturgist is here.
Alright, Earthlings. In this video, I'll be exploring my other favourite world-building approach, what I call the bottom-up method, which starts creation at ground level and is guided primarily by the player character's journey. If you haven't already, please do check out my world-building basics video, and maybe my top-down world-building video too, which I'll link at the end. Where top-down world-building can begin with a broader, larger idea, I feel that the bottom-up approach tends to be more focused on a smaller idea, at least at first. I consider bottom-up world-building more like the creation of an adventure video game. The ideas and story are designed for the player's experience. There could be hints and clues to other places and cultures, but they are light, and the focus is more on the areas about the characters. The bottom-up approach can be a popular starting point for those brave souls wanting to try the old world-building malarkey. This could be because it focuses on the player character's viewpoint, so it can be developed in line with their adventuring path. It can therefore require less work ahead of time and ahead of each session. Plus it could even allow more adaptability in world creation, as areas can be more malleable to the campaign journey or the party's needs or requirements. Fuller worlds created ahead of time can sometimes feel more fixed or rigid to some GMs. It could require a more spontaneous approach to lore if the wider world is not touched upon during creation, which sometimes could lead to the dreaded I don't know scenario from a pressured GM being hounded by inquisitive players. But a more spontaneous game can suit a lot of GMs. My advice, instead of the I don't know scenario, would be the distraction technique. Just grab an appendage, wince, and quickly intake breath, saying, I keep getting that. In no time at all, the players should be talking about their own ailments or concerns, while you can think of appropriate answers while they're distracted. I find using the bottom-up approach especially useful in the world-building process if I have a particular adventure in mind. But the starting point for world creation can instead arise from an interesting geographical feature or location. It could be a strange temple, a majestic palace, or a hidden pirate base, perhaps even a haunted barrow mound, or a hitherto unknown alien starport. The starting seed for world building could also arise from the idea of a specific character, NPC or villain you've conjured into being. Short campaigns often centre on a particular area, and in truth, a particular location or character, so world building for such can focus on those areas also. Perhaps the seed for world building to grow has been inspired by a monastery only accessible by boat, or a mystical crystal formation in the depths of a cave network that sings when light shines upon it, or maybe a once vibrant mountain village afflicted by a strange malady, causing the villagers to just sit around and waste away. The spark for world building could be the idea of an aging queen, the last of her line, or of a corrupted sheriff terrorising a small town. Maybe the supervillain was where your thoughts began, or the ambassador of an alien race seeking sanctuary. All these things can be the foundations of world building, and can inspire questions and ultimately the growth of that world, together with potentially becoming the focus of an adventure or series adventures for eager little player characters. Lovely jubbly. When it comes to bottom-up world building, due to its ground-level nature, it could be useful to imagine stepping into the shoes or boots of those intrepid player characters, and then considering what they would see to help guide your progress. Or it may suit the world builder to use a map of the local area to guide the immediate world about the player characters. These can be real maps or those created by the GM. A map of the area can also serve as a reference point for the players too, so can be very handy, and might even guide their path at times if cartographical entries pique their interest. Something that I consider to help add some flavour to the game world is what the culture of the area is or was like. What creatures, if any, dwell within reach of the party? Who were the player characters likely to meet, and how should they be described? If there are sentient species there, where do they live, or how do they live? Maybe the village the party starts in sits under the barony of an old beloved ruler, but the heir is cruel and mistreats the populace. The village could therefore be prosperous, but perhaps there are a growing number of empty homes, as some fear the rule of the heir and seek a more stable and safe future. The area could then be approaching the brink of decline, and this can open the door to influxes of greeblies and goblins, and a shitload of adventure too. Perhaps the starport where the party begins sits in a system of large ice worlds. Details such as the low temperature of the station, more fitting to its local populace, or the thick layered coats and hats worn by locals visiting the port could be highlighted to player characters. How do the ice dwellers consider warm skins who visit their system? What are their laws and customs? Maybe there are saunas aboard the station, as hot springs and saunas are popular on the ice worlds. Sometimes populations could be all but non-existent, such as in post-apocalyptic games, mysteries, or upon barren planets. But GMs can still include details such as weird geology, evidence of past settlements, or an alien unknown presence to help deepen the game world. If you have a map of your campaign area, the details upon it can help guide the world setting. If there is a large river, then the village that the player characters start in could include a vibrant fishing culture, with many boatmen plying the waters with trade and transport. Fish is the mainstay meal in eateries, and boatwrights, rope makers and net makers may well be the most respected members of the community. Maybe the starting town sits between a tall range of mountains and the coast. The people could be more insular, as they only see outsiders during the summer season when the mountain passes thaw. They could have unique customs or faith, and be wary of outsiders who do not feel such a deep connection to their home. By creatively exploring such ideas, together with the use of the who, what, where, why, when, how questions, details and depth can be added to even very short games, which I feel can really add to the immersion of our adventures. By using the bottom-up approach, together with the top-down method that I mentioned in the previous video, you can be well on your way to becoming a world-building adept. And by exploring different methods and techniques aside from these, and adding them to your repertoire, I'm sure GMs, DMs and storytellers alike can quickly travel further and further down the world-building rabbit hole, just like that girl from that story of yours. As just like many things, the more you explore, the more that will reveal itself to the creative world builder. Anyway, I've probably rabbited on too long, so I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Take a butcher's at my top-down video, which I'll link on the end screen, and subscribe if you'd like to support this channel and see more content. TTFN.